Thanks, Loel, and thanks everyone for joining this call. Really appreciate it. So my name is John Morad. I grew up in Egypt, and then I moved to Europe when I was 20, and I worked as software developer for 10 years before moving to Oklahoma in the US. And then, all my background came from software development. I had no idea about business until I started one startup called I Recommend uh, back in 2018. We raised money, we raised $3 million in seed round for I Recommend, and nothing worked. It was the most horrible experience I've ever had in my life. We had shut it down. We raised $3 million. We generated 25,000 in revenue uh, over 2 years. So I recommend it was kind of the wake up call for me about fundraise and bootstrap. It took me 2 years to get back thinking about startups until I started ERP365. And the idea with ERP365 had original idea had nothing to do with bootstrap. We were trying to be SAP or Oracle at the time. Uh, but then I realized, I think I spent 3 months trying to fundraise um, after we launched the product, and I received every single no you can imagine on fundraise without even them asking any question. Like literally, just not even um, considering this as as a startup. Um, so I had no option. I ran out of personal money, so I needed to make money. And I started selling ERP, and I'm not at that time 3 years ago. I wasn't comfortable with sales. I didn't know from where to start. So the first thing I did was just literally just picking up the phone and call every single retail company in Oklahoma, and I got another nose. And then I started reaching out to Arkansas and Missouri, and I broke down the states until someone said yes after maybe 300 no's. And then I worked with our first customer. I still have great relationship with him. He has a retail store in Arkansas, and I drove all the way to Arkansas, spent 3 days with him, trying to understand his challenges, customized everything to fit his workflow, and he sent me a refiller, and that was $300 a month subscription. And I think I spent almost $6,000 in expenses to get this $300. And that was another wake-up call that sales needs to be profitable, you know, not just sales. Uh, so I I took what I did with him and I started copying with other retails, and I realized that it's me who's saying no at that time. I am vetting the customer while the customer is vetting the product as well. It's both ways. Um, and we, I mean, me and my co-founder at that time, uh, she joined after 1 year. We worked really hard just getting people in the door. Uh, Once you know, we reached like 10,000 in MRR, we felt confidence. It's not about the money, it's we didn't feel confidence in selling because we didn't have customers, we didn't know what we were selling, we didn't know the pain point for the user. Um, and then we started saying, okay, we need to scale. We were planning to raise money at that time, and the best advice I ever heard about fundraise is They said that investors or VC, it's like butterfly. If you go and chase butterfly, you will never get them. If you ignore the butterflies and go and build a beautiful garden, you'll wake up one day and butterflies are just all over the place. And we said the best attraction for us, prove that we are worth of investing, is to create a good, strong revenue mechanism. So we focus on that. This is where we built our own internal, outbound sales software. We didn't have money to do any Google ads or spend on huge SEO efforts. So our cold outreach was our best bet at that time. And it was our only customer acquisition channel. When you have three customers, the flywheel for the, you know, um, for referrer, customer referrer doesn't really work. You have three, you need to have more. So we said, okay, what's our market? Every single small retail that they do between 0 and 1 million in sales a year that exists in the US, Europe, Australia, and South America. We literally scraped every single lead online. I wrote some Python and scraped all these leads, and they came to 12 million. And we said, okay, that's our market, 12 million customers. We'll take five of them every single week. That's our goal. And from there, once we started outreach, we didn't have a system to outreach. Apollo didn't work for us. Most of other systems didn't work for us. And hiring dedicated, sophisticated salespeople who go to market was out of the way at that time. We're making like 10K a month. So literally just send manual messages every single day and change the message, every now and then and test the different messages. And we started getting started getting, traction. Within 6 months, we went from 10,000 to 70,000 in MRR. And that still, I mean, it doesn't sound impressive, but once you reach 70,000 or once you reach, 100 customer, you have referrer, you have case studies, you know your market, you get knowledge that is so strong that when you talk with customers, you are industry expert. And that's what these 100 customers allowed us to be. We went from 0 to 100 customers in a year and a half, and then we went from 100 customers to 500 customers in 10 months. So there is that, build effect that goes faster as you go. Um, and then by the time we were, a little bit over 1 million in ARR, we still wanted to raise money, but, it was really just weird. It was easier to make money from customers. And I was like, I mean, we make deals 100 mid-market 150K, and I can close this deal 100 to 150K in a week. While the VC for them to give us 100K, it takes 3 months in due diligence. And I was like, okay, maybe we raise later. So we reach it, you know, uh, right now we're actually at a little bit over 5 million, 5.2 million in ARR. And when we reach it, between 2 million to now, you have no idea how many harassment from VC we received. The same VC that, 1 year ago They said that this business is it's so crowded, you know. Um, you hear these words a lot. It's crowded. There's no founder market fit, you know. It's this, it's that, or go and make money and then get proof concept, market fit, and then come back and talk with us. And I'm like, well, if I go and get proof market fit, I'm not gonna come and ask for 100K, you know. So right now we're at 5.2 million ARR, and we have some different direction to take the company uh, in a different direction in the next few months or next quarter. Uh, but at least for ERB, VC is not definitely one of this direction. I'll be honest with you. Um, we're growing faster than what any valuation they will give us, and I would rather just take a whole different direction on ERP. Um, but during that time, we took what we built internally, the outreach software that we built internally, and we spin it off ERP. And this is where we launched Flye, back in October. And it's basically, AI sales outbound tool that, automate 90% of B2B sales efforts. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically the long story. Would you like me to go through some of the questions?
Yeah, you can go through some of the questions or ask. I don't know if any of the
Yeah,
attendees have questions as well.
I'll
Uh,
go through one or two quickly, and then we can take, around questions. 'Cause some of them I really like them actually. So, how did you find your first 10 customers? So, it's I'm sure you guys know the concept of from 0 to 1. Just find the first customer. But for it to be a customer, you can't go, which I did, and offer your service or software for free. It's not a customer. They have to actually pay for your service or product. So how do you find that? The first thing, you tap into your network. The second thing, you tap into your network's network. The third thing is you go back all the way and you do the same thing, tap into your network, tap into your network's network with a different message. Reach out. It's embarrassing, it's hard, it's tough, but reach out. Get that first customer, work with them. Only one. You just need one. You need one that pays you 10 or whatever amount of money equal to your service to put you in business. Now you're in business. Once you have one single customer, you do the same thing, tap into your network, tap into your network's network for the second customer. Find a message that works, align the message. You might have 10 messages for 10 customers or 10 leads. Find that message that worked, repeat it for the second one. Now, after two customers, your network's exhausted. Let's be honest, okay? So you cannot expand more than that. Go out on Reddit, on social media, um, by emails. Now you know you have two customers. You know what kind of customer you're looking for. Walk around your neighborhood. Our fourth customer was a store, Middle Eastern store that I used to buy hummus from in Tulsa. And I told him, why you don't have Shopify store? He told me it's too much work. I told him, well, if I create Shopify store for you and put all your products in the system, will you pay me $300 a month? He left and he told me, I'll think about it. I went back to him and I told him, man, you're losing too much money. You're not offering this. No one goes to store anymore. You lose so much money online. He told me, yeah, but I have so many products. I told him, I'm going to spend 2 days with you, scan every product, put in the system. And I did that. But here's the thing, when we think about customer acquisition, we always think about this sophisticated go-to-market tools and sophisticated to-market, workflows. The reality is your first customer and second, and most probably your first 10 customers, in reality, they're not your ideal customer. They're not really your ICP. You're squeezing every angle to make them your ICP. And that's fine. That's okay. Because your ICP will change dramatically over 1 or 3 years. So don't put that ICP in a box. Just work. If your product or service provides some value to them, try to increase the value. Try to see what angle, and work with them to get these 10 customers. Now that's not scalable system by any means. We're not trying to scale at all. We're trying to get 10 customers in 3 months. For God's sake, walk in the street and if you're doing retail, walk in the street and talk with retail small shop owners, give them a discount, do something. You have to get these 10 customers. These 10 customers will give you reviews. They will give you validation of internal, even for yourself. But basically, to answer the question, how do you find the first 10 customers? Focus on one and focus local. You tap into your network, tap into your network's network, do it again and again and again until you find the correct message. And then after that, you know, go online and start testing, and don't worry about ICB. Don't worry about, you know, um, things at that time. You're just trying to get someone see some value in your product or service and commit some money for it. Thad, go ahead.
Hey, John. So I had a quick question regarding the jump that you made from ERP365 to now Flye. So obviously the tech behind like ERPs vastly different from something like a go-to-market tool like Flye is. So two questions stem from that. Number one, what made you make that jump into like AI sales software and go-to-market tooling? And then number two, did your go-to-market strategy change between what you did with ERP365 and what you're doing now?
So the first thing is on ERP and Fly, completely different, like you said, development tools even and languages and everything. We felt the value of Fly while we're doing ERP. It's almost, I think someone from Techstars mentioned the story of Slack, that the Slack was internal tool for a gaming company, and they felt that the value of Slack might even be higher than the value of the main company. We feel the same. We feel that the value of Fly is higher than ERP365. We feel it with demos, we feel it with traction, we feel it in every single area. Just different level, let's be honest, when you get on a phone with potential customer, they're not excited about showing, asking questions and about inventory and warehousing, but when you get on a call with someone that wants to use Fly, they're excited, you're excited. It's a whole different dynamic, you know. Uh, to the second point, which is basically the go-to-market, completely different. ERP365 originally was trying to be product-led growth. that we believe the product is so good, no one can see it and not sign up, right? Wrong. You know? You have to grab them to sign up. You have to customize everything for onboarding. Nothing automated on ERP365. While Flye, it has to work on a PLG way. The product has to sell itself. Otherwise, there's no value in the revenue mechanism. When you sell a product that's, 60 or $80 a month, you cannot spend 3 months closing the deal and customizing. It just makes no sense. But on ERP for mid-market, when you do, 100K plus, you can spend 3 months. You can afford to spend 3 months on it. So the go-to-market and the sales is completely different between both.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you very much, John.
I'll take one last question from the list. Can you build two startups at the same time? So that's a really good question. Uh, I'm getting old, so I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. 10 years ago, I wanted to be, the next unicorn. I know I don't have the skill set to take any startup to a unicorn level, but I made peace with it. I know that I'm really good in a very specific niche. Um, I think about startups as investor. Um, I will never have only one startup. I should have 5 to 8 startups. Some of the startups I'm involved with it 100%. Other startups I'm involved in it 5%. Um, who, if you are not planning to be a unicorn and you plan to build this small startup that can go for acquisition for 50 million, which is really good money, if you, like, realistic speaking, but it's not going to be a unicorn, then you should have multiple products or services. Um, you're balancing your risk. Most of VC, they don't have one single company, right? So they balance the risk across multiple portfolio. As a founder, we were taught to put all our eggs in one basket. We were taught to work on one thing and one thing only for the next 10 years to make the partner in the VC firm proud. But if you do that, you're not a founder, you're an employee. For the VC, I'm not saying you shouldn't commit. You should commit at the very beginning of the startup to the main focus on one thing. You know, like 6 months ago, the main focus was on ERP. Right now, the main focus on Flye, but I'm still running ERP with other people. And then you can add people to it. Once you have money, you can build management team. You know the playbook, right? You know what works. You've done it. You've done the code, you've done the sales, you've done the struggle. You know what works. And then you do the next thing, for Flye. And then once it reaches one point, then either you exit, early exit, or some other mechanism, and then you build the next thing. This is not distraction. For some reason, we are taught that having multiple portfolio is distraction. It's actually not distraction. You're building on your success, and it will get easier as you go. We didn't have to raise money for Flye. We can spend millions of dollars on Flye from ERP. Does that make sense? And if ERP, if Flye goes to the next level, the next one, it should be a way much easier. Not everything will be successful, obviously, but that idea of one single, unless it's really, really a very special thing to your heart, your vision, and you can like you're obsessed with it, and you know that's either I'll completely fail in 10 years or completely take it all the way to IPO, then that's a different, but circumstances. Uh, if that makes sense.
I had a question. That
Yeah.
makes sense. So, John, how did you go from, you said your first customer was, one of your first customers was $300 a month. How did you go from $300 a month to doing deals that were $100,000, $250,000 a year?
Most of enterprise software or business software, that the price on their website is really just the price, right? Like Salesforce is $25 per month, but the average Salesforce implementation is like 5 million. So when you tap into mid-market, good size companies, the base edition would never work for them. So you have to customize the software. And at the very beginning, it was like, no, I don't want to customize my product. But no, I mean, everyone customize enterprise software packages. So you customize between customization and so many other details in the deal. It comes to 100 to 200K, and that includes license, customization, implementation, professional service, support, if that makes sense. You give them priority support and all this stuff. So with enterprise, it adds up. There was no way I could make that model 3 years ago. I won't have the support personnel. I won't have the money to pay upfront for development customization costs. So the 300, and we're giving like, discount all the time, was a good model to attract, you know, early stage businesses before you go up market, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
I had a follow-up to that. So you mentioned that in order to lock down those larger enterprise customers, you were doing custom software. Was this more of a bespoke software? Basically, if you were to talk about like the technical details of it, like a fork of your original product, and that is their, for instance, self-hosted version of your product, or did you integrate those custom solutions into the product and offer it?
Yeah, into the product. So we had a rule of thumb. We would always do customization, but we'll never do customization where the product is completely split from the base product for one single customer. Now that's consulting, and you don't want to do that. That's the wrong. If your customer customization should enrich your product. If your custom customization is not enriching your product, don't do it. I don't advise on doing it. Unless you need the money, then do it. If that makes sense. You need a customer, then do anything. Doesn't matter. But in normal circumstances, the rule of thumb is if a customer asks for X implementation or customization, and we know that none of our 500 customers or the future customers will ever use it, we'll not do it. So this is a bit balance here. But again, unless it's like Walmart, then we'll do it. If there's a price for that pain, it has to be really expensive, I will do it.
Right. And with selling to enterprise customers also comes probably a lot of different compliance things. So, SOC 2 or HIPAA or even like SSO login, things like that. So, did you come in already having those things included and going to enterprise customers being like, hey, we already have this? Or did you wait for them to tell you that they needed it?
We didn't know we needed them even. So I remember doing SOC 1 and SOC 2, and I had to Google what SOC 1 and SOC 2 is after the customer call. And I was like, why do we need that even? And then when I realized that we have to pay 20K to do SOC 1 before we close the deal with them, I was like, okay, so, you know, we needed to make something to get that money up front from the customer. So, you know, we made it work. But it's always a learning curve. Um, as long as your goal is to provide value to your customer, and the customer provides value for your business as a whole, you know, if that's the main deal, um, if something in that parameter doesn't work, then you should make the deal.
Understood. Thank you.
So I'll take one last question on any advice for an entrepreneur bootstrapping right now. Um, Bootstrap to reach a point where um, you're close to profitability. Don't bootstrap to attract VC. Put VC on hold for a year or two. Now, let's be honest, it's hard. I had Azure account and I didn't have money to pay it, and I have my two kids. I sold my kids' toys to pay Azure account. And I did this for 3 months. I literally, negative in every single area. So it is hard. Whatever it takes, if you have a good product or even close to good, it doesn't need to, there's no such thing as good product. Bootstrap, because it teaches you things that if you have the money right now, you're losing on it. It teaches you how to go. The idea of business is to generate revenue. If you don't learn how to generate revenue, then at any point when VC money is shut down, you don't have that skill. So don't look at it as bootstrapping. Look at it as you're learning how to make money for your business out of nothing. Now, it comes with hard time. Do whatever it takes. Drive Uber at night, do DoorDash at night, do Instacart. If you're a coder, do Upwork, do this, do that. I did Upwork for a year with ERB, you know. Um, you have to do this. If you get a quick check from VC at a very early stage, you're not learning this stuff because you're hiring people to do this stuff for you. And if the flow of the VC money got stopped, you don't know what to do. So bootstrap, don't think about this is going to be a small company, it's going to be a big unicorn, we're going to raise 100 million. Doesn't matter. For 3 to 6 months, bootstrap, once you have something that's tangible, one customer, two customers, they're paying you, you feel you want to go the VC round, go VC round. So you already know how to go and get a customer, how to go and make revenue for your business. You're not 100% dependable day one on VC money. That's why make money before, don't let VC money be your first, money in the business. Um, but I mean, don't stop the idea either. I'm not saying never raise money. Uh, this hybrid approach. You can bootstrap and raise small round. You can bootstrap and raise large round. Bootstrap is a period where you're learning what it takes to sell your product or service. That's it. It has nothing to do with the size of your company. Some people think if you bootstrap, you're not going to be a unicorn. That's not the case. Bootstraps, again, it's just 3 to 6 months. You're learning how to make revenue for your business. After that, it's a whole different game.